David Viscott, and welcome. It's Saturday night, and it's leap year day. This is the extra day. You don't have anything to do better to do with it. You might as well spend it with me. This is an interesting night, I can tell you, because talking back with all the screeners backstage, I have not seen so much confusion trying to figure out which call to set first, because there's just so much interesting stuff. Have you noticed that there is more stuff coming in?
Well, sure. Some nights we have like theme nights, and the calls are the same, but not tonight, I don't think.
No theme. It's well,
no theme.
Maybe there is
everything.
a theme. This has been a strange week from that. Maybe because let's see. I see we have Pam, who's 39, and hasn't had sex drive for 5 years.
Uh-huh.
And then we got Scott here, who's fascinated with transvestite lifestyle. Do you know whether he's a transvestite?
Well, we'll let you talk to him.
Okay, so
Okay.
who's first?
Okay, we have Bob. He's on line B, and he has some concerns he wants to talk about.
Bob?
Yes.
Hi, Bob. How old are you?
26.
20? Yes. What's up?
Well, I'm just in amazement. I got through to you. I've been trying for several weeks. Basically, I'm 26.
Congratulations.
Thanks. It was been trying. Basically, I'm 26. I moved out from the East Coast approximately 2 years ago. My whole life, I was straight. I guess I still consider myself straight. I have a girlfriend and all that. But I guess what has happened dramatically in my life in the last month is, sorry, I'm a little scared. Basically, what's happened is at work, sometimes I work with a lot of people, and I've been attracted to this one man, and I didn't really know what to do about it, so I took this course at a local community college, a psychology class, and I was telling my mother about it, and my mother and I are real close. Basically, when I told my mother the feelings I was having, she kind of laid some news on me, telling me that my father is gay or bisexual, and that they're just waiting for my younger sister to get old enough to graduate high school so he can go live his alternate life. And basically that's it. And I don't know what to do with my feelings. I don't know what to do with the feelings towards my father.
What feelings do you have towards your father?
I love my dad.
I'm sure.
I always respected him. But in the same sense, when I was learning or trying to figure out what to do with the feelings I'm having, some of it, obviously, you think negative things due to the fact that, although some people still think it's a type of perversion. And now I see those things in my father. And let alone, now I look in the mirror and see them in myself.
Perversion.
Well, out of normal, not normal. Do you know what I'm saying?
Of course I know what you're saying. The question is, are you gay?
That's what I called you for.
Well, I know, but I'm asking what you think. You said you're straight and you've got a girlfriend.
Correct. And then that's the third trouble, so I don't know what to tell her.
Wait a second. When you found yourself recently attracted to a man at work, what were the feelings that you had?
That I wanted to, it wasn't like I just wanted...
Finish the sentence. That you wanted to...
Just be with him a lot, talk to him. I enjoyed his company. I couldn't stop being away from him. I enjoyed his companionship more than I've ever enjoyed anyone else's.
And why?
I don't know. He listened to me, and I started having more feelings about him.
Like what?
I quit thinking about my girlfriend, and I started thinking about him all the time.
But how?
Well, obviously how.
Well, tell me how.
It's hard to say. In a physical way. I would go to bed at night thinking about it.
And what did you want to do? Hold him?
I'm sorry?
You wanted to hold him?
Just be with him. Whatever it took. Whatever. I would think up excuses just to go see him.
Okay.
Because he would work different days sometimes.
So you're infatuated with him?
Well, yeah, I guess that's a good word for it.
But
yeah.
that happens. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're gay. You can have those warm feelings about another man, and very often when you have those feelings, for someone who accepts you and is close to you and listens to you, very often you can sexualize them.
Uh-huh.
But sexualizing feelings is something one does when one feels close, because it's, you know, when you naturally want to be close to someone,
Mm-hmm.
a sexual feeling doesn't seem out of place. It bonds it. Now, if it's not what you want to do, and it's not.
Well, that's just it. I'm not sure if I don't want to.
Well, I know.
I may want to.
I know, but that doesn't mean you
I
have.
have a lot of thoughts about him.
But doesn't mean you have to act on them. You can actually love him and not have to have sex with him.
Mhm.
Are you thinking that perhaps because your father has this problem that it's passed on?
I don't know. I don't know if maybe something in my childhood that he did caused this.
What are you remembering?
Just my father and I were very, very close. There was a lot of exchange of closeness in my family.
Okay, that doesn't produce homosexuality.
I'm just worried about because in my psychology class, there's things that happen to you before you can remember them, and I'm wondering if he did any of those things that caused me to feel this way. Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
Of course, but do you think it happened? Do you have a suspicion? Or what do you feel like in your father's presence? Do you get tight?
Well, now I do. I haven't seen him. I've only talked to him since then.
You get tight because of what? Because you suspect, or tight because you're afraid of your own feelings?
Mm-hmm.
Your own feelings, right?
Correct.
Okay. Did you ever get tight or frightened around your dad when he touched you?
No.
Okay.
Of course.
That's
Who does?
well, people who are molested often do when they pull away. Your body has a memory all its own.
Mm-hmm.
You can remember a touch, even though you may not integrate that memory.
Mm-hmm.
I have people who have recalled discovering a parent in bed dead,
Mm-hmm.
and with no feeling at all attached to it, and then when they remembered touching the person and the person being cold, the whole memory came back. So touch seems to have another sensory way of reaching us, the way our memory of smell does. You know what I mean?
Part of the problem maybe is I haven't touched him since they still live back east.
Well, maybe.
What happens when I go see him in the next week?
He's your dad, and you love him.
And what do I tell him? Father, I'm in love with a nice Irish band.
Well, what you do is you can talk to your father and be open with him. Do you love this girlfriend?
Do I love my girlfriend?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, very much.
And
But can I say? Can I be frank here?
absolutely.
The feelings the things that I've wanted to do with her are now with this other person.
Uh-huh. Well,
I'm looking for you for an answer, I guess. I'm sorry.
but it's a fantasy right now.
Mm-hmm.
And in some way, you know, it's difficult to sort this out in a short moment. But one of the things you may be doing is finding this relationship a replacement of your relationship with your dad in some way.
Mm-hmm.
In some way, you may feel as if you've lost your father. I would talk to your dad on the phone and tell him that since you've heard about this, you've been a little confused and a little anxious. And let him talk to you. He understands the situation pretty well by now.
Okay.
And he's a person who can understand and take away some of the onus of having these feelings. And, you know, I think what you need to do is make the assumption that you're not gay. Make the assumption that you're sexualizing the relationship.
What do I do about these feelings for Jim?
Experience them, but don't act them out. You're not sure. Don't act on them. Is he gay?
I think so.
Well, there's no need to move now, is there?
Well, that's just it. Now my worries are that he will discover that obviously I like him. And,
he already knows that.
And what if he makes a...
You just say, I'm not sure now, I'm not ready for this, and you have to move real slow with me because I don't know what it is I feel.
Okay.
And you need to speak to your father because that's the primary source of some of this confusion. And in speaking to your dad, I think you'll resolve a lot of this and make your feelings more clarified. And when you do that, I think you'll know what direction to go in. But don't worry about it. You'll do the right thing.
Well, that was pretty perceptive how you linked his father with the transferring of the feelings. Would that be common to do that?
Well, it's always common when you have a relationship that you're uncertain about, to take the feelings from that uncertain relationship and to put them in another relationship, even if the other relationship is also confusing. It's just a way of dealing with it in a safer area. So this needs a lot of sorting out. This is something he cannot do by himself. But starting with the father is the first place to go, because his dad will understand.
Okay, let's go to the next call. I have Pam. She's on line A, and she's frustrated.
Pam?
Yes,
Hi, how old are you, Pam?
39.
Why are you calling?
Uh,
You have to speak up, Pam.
I have what I would consider a frustrated sex life.
Okay, that happens. What are you talking about, though?
I'm not interested in it.
You're not interested in it?
No,
Since when?
since my daughter was born 5.5 years ago.
And what was going on then?
What do you mean? What was going
If
on?
after this is the only child you have?
Oh, no, I have a son 22 and a son 21.
Okay, how come you had this other child with such a distance?
Well, I didn't meet my boyfriend until 1980, and I had gotten pregnant in 1984, and I lost that one. They had to take it surgically.
Why?
I only have one ovary and tube on the left side, and the baby took on my right side in my broad ligaments, tendons, and muscles.
Oh, so it was ectopic, huh?
Yeah, my doctor told me it would have killed me.
Okay, but you got pregnant again.
Right.
And during that pregnancy, you wanted this child?
Oh, very much so.
Okay. You were a mother when you were 17. You were pregnant when you were 16, huh?
I was a mother at the age of 16.
Yeah. Did you marry that man?
Yeah.
Why was there that hesitation?
Well, it's kind of a long story.
Well, the answer was yeah, but the long story was there's a lot of confusion, huh?
Yes, a lot.
Okay. Why did you marry so young? You had to get out of the house?
Yes.
Why? What was the house like you left?
I knew that was coming. I lived with my stepfather since I was approximately 8 years old.
And what happened?
I was molested by him.
Okay. And following the birth of the girl child, a child like you lose your sexual interest. How do you understand that? See if you can put this one together.
I can't. I have.
Sure you can.
I've tried. I really have
All right.
tried.
So after the birth of this child, your sexual drive disappears, almost as if you're trying to protect the child in some way from sex. You'll be a parent who doesn't have a sex drive, unlike your stepfather.
I don't know if that's what it is or.
Well, it makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And tell me about the father. Are you married to him?
No.
Is he around?
Yes.
So you're living with him?
No. He's here every day.
Okay, so he takes care of the kid?
Yeah. Sort of. Right now he's helping me out. I'm in a situation right now where something has happened and I'm not getting any money for her.
From him?
No.
Okay. So is it safe to say that you feel a little resentment?
Oh, no. No, I don't.
You don't feel any resentment?
No, I don't.
You don't
Not
feel
at
any.
all.
You don't feel any resentment over not being married to this guy?
No, I don't. I love him very much.
Okay.
Very, very much.
But he's not committed?
No, I won't say he's committed.
Okay. So maybe you're a little disappointed that he's not committed?
No, because
Don't give me a reason.
I
Why
don't
wouldn't-
I don't want to be married.
Why?
I had 2 bad marriages, and that was enough for me.
Okay. Well, what would happen if you did have a sex drive?
I'm really not sure. I think Don and I would get along a lot better than we do.
And if you got along a lot better, what might that do to the prospect of marriage?
Well, actually, like I said, I'm not interested.
You didn't hear
in that.
me. I know this is a complicated thought for you, so I'm asking you to hear. If you had a powerful sex drive and wanted him badly, my guess is that you would want to get married if you had that powerful feeling towards him, right?
It's very possible.
Therefore, by not having the feeling, you don't threaten yourself by getting into a marriage where you might be hurt again. So not having the sex drive is a way of staying single.
Well, I really don't know about that, Dr. Viscott.
Well,
because I've
you
been
come
with-
up with something better.
Well, I've been with him for 12 years.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that you fully trust him or fully trust yourself. And having his kid is one thing. Not having interest in him sexually is a way of keeping him distant. And that, to me, sounds exactly like what you're doing. You know, your feelings make a lot of sense when you understand the meaning that your feelings convey. And when you have a feeling, if you can understand what it does in your life, you'll understand its meaning. We'll be right back. David Viscott, and I can promise you this is not going to be a usual night. There is nothing ordinary about any of the calls that are coming in.
Okay, here we go. We've got Scott on line 3, and he has an interest in a different lifestyle.
I wonder what. Scott.
Hello?
Hello, Scott. You have to speak up.
Okay.
That's great.
Okay.
How old are you, Scott?
22.
Talk to me, Scott.
Well, I'm fascinated with transsexuals, basically.
Fascinated with transsexuals. Tell me exactly what that means.
I desire to have one as a girlfriend. Date them.
Why?
I don't know. I don't like men. I like women, so. But
what is it about the transsexual that you find so interesting?
I don't know. That's why I called.
Well, you tell me, because I don't know what it is that some people are fascinated. You know, they are fascinating, aren't they?
Yeah.
I mean, but what is it that fascinates you?
They're interesting to me. They're different. Sometimes almost more of a challenge than a female, I guess.
Okay, now that little laugh, is that a laugh of anxiety? Because, you know, when I think of, you know, what it would take for me to become a transsexual, to have my penis amputated, and to have an artificial vagina made, and to go on hormones, and all that stuff, I must tell you, it's not a comfortable feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Is that something you would ever consider?
Would I?
Yeah.
No.
Okay. Why not?
That's just not something I'm into.
But there was that laugh again, right?
I'm just nervous, that's all.
Yeah, but that's a nervous laugh.
Yeah.
I wonder if in some way there is in the attraction an attempt to master, because we try to master the things we fear, a fear about, you know, some damage.
Mm-hmm.
Were you ever injured genitally?
No.
But
No.
there's that laugh again.
Not anything other than basically anybody else. Maybe a baseball.
Okay, I can relate to that.
Yeah.
All right, but is any part of the fascination relate to why someone would do that? Are you concerned about why someone would want to become a woman?
A little, yeah.
Okay, tell me about that.
Sometimes I ask them.
You do?
Yeah.
Well, that's good. What do you ask?
Well, basically I ask, and they just give me their whole story from when and until now, basically.
And as you listen to the story, what is the feeling you get?
A little respect that they could go through life not caring what somebody else is going to think if they know.
Okay, so it's respect for them being such an individualist and being able to stand up for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
What other feeling? And when they tell you about why they did it?
I just think that's great that they had enough guts to go for it. That's what they wanted, so they, obviously that's the way they felt they wanted to be. So.
Okay. Just for my own education, where does a person go to meet transsexuals?
I know of 2 clubs.
Really?
Yeah.
Are there a lot of them?
The only 2 that I know are the only 2 around.
The 2 clubs?
Yeah.
I mean, are there a lot of transsexuals?
There's a lot of transvestites also, but...
Transvestites, I understand.
Yeah.
That's not so radical a procedure.
Yeah.
The makeup comes off and you hang the stockings over the side of the bed and you wake up a guy.
Mm-hmm.
Right, but this is not the same thing.
Yeah.
How many transsexuals have you met?
I've met quite a lot.
How many?
Basically anyone that I'm not repulsed at looking at.
Anyone that you're not repulsed at looking at?
Yeah, some are a little questionable in looks. They're not too pretty. Their face and bodies just don't look good.
What am I getting from you, this strange little laugh all the time?
Just nervous
Yeah.
TV.
All right, but I'm on TV, you're not.
Yeah.
Okay. Have you gone home with any of them?
Yes.
And what's that like for you?
Not as much as I thought. No big deal. No big deal. Not any really different.
Any different from what?
From being with a female.
And when you're there, the feeling is what? Are you comfortable?
Yeah.
What has your experience with women been?
Just had girlfriends, gone out with them.
And how does it differ?
How's it different? Nothing as far as I know. Really. Sometimes it seems like a little bit more fun.
Being with a girl?
Huh?
Being
No,
with
the other.
being with a transsexual
Yeah.
is more fun.
Yeah.
Define fun.
I don't know. The personality's a little bit more, just a little more fun.
I mean, they enjoy being a girl more, kind of thing. They're glad to be a girl.
Yeah. Sometimes it's more of the feminine thing than some female.
I don't know where to take this, Scott.
I know.
I don't know what this means.
Mhm.
I don't know what to tell you.
Mhm.
But there are a lot of questions that I have. Would you be interested in hearing my questions?
Sure.
In some way, does this represent a fear you have of being gay?
No.
I'm just asking.
Yeah. Seriously, no.
All right. Does this also represent your attempt to master some fears of your own?
I have no idea.
You have no idea.
No idea.
Are you just fascinated with another side of sexuality, something new?
Yeah. Yeah.
Why did you call me?
Because I've just been trying to figure out why, and maybe you might know.
Well, we could talk about it a little more, but I think that the main thing I'm hearing is that the fascination has some roots that may not even be sexual. I mean, there's just a fascination, and it may be a fascination about you and what you are and who you are. And I think in being close to these people and studying them, I think you may be coming close to trying to understand who you are. And I think that's been a question maybe you've never really looked into in depth.
That's very true.
So I think that's what this is all about. So it's just getting close to someone who is safe to look at. But I wouldn't get the operation, and I'd be very careful of of anyone that you're having sex with,
Yeah.
because these aren't safe times, and you've got to figure out where you're going and what it means. But right now, it's the curiosity about you. I would keep a journal. That's what I would do. I would keep a journal of my experiences and thoughts and recollections and feelings, and I would read through that journal every so often, because in keeping the journal of the unknown and unexpected, I think you'll get perspective. That's not a bad idea for you either. If you're going through an unusual period of your life, get a notebook, get a pen, and keep a diary of your feelings about the situation you're going through, and read it through every so often. Just keeping tabs of a confusing situation can be just what you need to make it clearer. We've got a lot of other interesting calls coming up. Stay tuned. Welcome back. David Viscott here, and let's go to the next call.
Okay, we have Lori on line C, and her life is being threatened.
Lori.
Hello?
Hi, how old are you?
35.
What do you mean your life is being threatened?
Well, where do you want me to start, from 3 years ago, or do you want me to start from now?
Tell me what's going on right now, and then we can go back a bit.
Okay, on Thanksgiving Day, my son came in, and I was cleaning the bathroom and trying to scurry around the house, and as my mother was coming for dinner, and he came in, he says, Mom, he says, you know that man next door? And I says, yeah. He says, well, he just dumped a big pool of oil over the wall onto this vacant piece of land. And he goes, Mom, I like to keep this planet clean I live on. I like to keep the earth clean. And I says, let's talk about it later. Let me see what I can do after Grandma leaves. And I mentioned it to my mother, and my mother is an apartment owner, and she told me not to say anything, but my son was concerned. I mean, we're supposed to be teaching our kids to not do things like this, and so now I don't know what I should, what I think I would have, I don't know.
Well, go to the point. What happened?
Okay, I called the police out, and they forewarned me that this thing could, escalate to where it's at now. And they says it's a chance you're going to have to take.
Tell me what happened. You're avoiding it. Obviously, the guy got very upset, and what did he say? What did he do?
Okay, that guy moved out. I had that guy arrested. The county of Riverside, I don't know what happened with it. Hazmat found it lost through the system.
Who threatened you? Tell me who threatened you.
Okay, recently it's the apartment management, the management company, and tenants here.
How have they threatened you?
Okay, another tenant in the complex.
Tell me how you, before we get to it, you're avoiding it. Who threatened you, and what did they say?
The management and a tenant here. In fact, today I was...
Tell me what they said. Look at how...
He came up to me and started pounding on my windows. I'm surprised they didn't break in my car.
But what did he say?
He told me he was going to kill me and drown me in the pool. And these other people were all standing around, and I kept yelling at them to call the police, and they just stood there. They did nothing.
Okay.
And then the manager came over, and he says, I think you just better get your ass out of here.
Uh-huh.
And I don't want to repeat all the words, but I wish I never rented you, fat slob, and on and on and on.
And why are they doing this?
It all started over is it me?
No, but why are they doing this?
The only thing I could think of is because I filed a lawsuit against them.
Against them?
Against the apartment management company.
Well, that's a reason for them being that way. So they're trying to drive you out. Why did you file a lawsuit against them?
Because the oil damaged, and the oil was never cleaned up. The original person that dumped the oil.
Lori, let's talk reality. Come here. When you file a lawsuit against somebody, you are ending your relationship with them. The fact that you could even be the slightest bit naive about this and think for a moment that things would be the same is astonishing to me. And they're going to do everything in their power to get rid of you, right?
To even threaten to kill me?
Well, they'll do anything in their power to get rid of you. The question is, why didn't you realize that this is what would happen once you made the lawsuit? You surely didn't expect that they would greet you with smiles every morning.
Why don't they just leave me alone and let's all go
Because
to...
you sued them and you caused them damage. You sued the management, and the management now has to respond to the owners who are saying, you got this lawsuit in your hands. If you don't fix it up and get that woman out of there, you're fired.
But what about the oil dumping? That was... Why did they allow it?
Wait a second. We're talking reality here, not idealism, okay? That's what they did, all right? They did that. It was wrong. It was stupid. It was anti-environmental. It was all the bad things that we know about. But you filed the lawsuit. The moment you filed the lawsuit, they decided to get rid of you, and they're going to make your life miserable. And they're never going to be good to you, and you'll never get a court injunction that will make them be better, and they'll never stop being difficult or stop harassing you.
So it's all my fault.
Well, yes.
I'm the bad guy.
No. You just did something that provoked them. And the fact that... What did you expect? That you were going to live there and be happy after you had filed the lawsuit against the manager? Who would be managing the apartment except someone who couldn't get a better job? I mean, you didn't think. I mean, did you think you were going to be able to stay there afterwards?
Yeah.
Well, that never happens. It's like filing a lawsuit. It's your business. You're out of there the moment you do that. Even if you have a just right cause, you're out of there. And they're going to get you. I mean, that's what they're about. They're going to get you. If someone fired a nuisance suit for you at work, saying that you were discriminating against them, or that you claim that you were treated unfairly, you're out of there. You don't stand a chance. They will get rid of you because you're not a team player. I mean, I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying it's amazing how naive you are.
All I just wanted to do was to show my son that...
I understand, but in doing that, you ended your ability to live in that apartment complex in an easy, peaceful way. Is the suit still on?
Yeah.
What do you expect? Well, you can go up to him and say, look, I made a stupid mistake. I was just trying to call my son. I'm going to withdraw the suit. I'll withdraw the suit if you promise to stop harassing me. Would you do that?
I can't now.
Okay, then you're going to move. Simple as that. Or you're going to stay there and be threatened.
No, I plan on moving out. They made my life miserable even trying to get a place. Everybody that called here for a reference,
That's right. So you're going to have to negotiate with them to get a good reference.
I didn't get a good reference.
I said you're going to have to negotiate with them to get a good reference.
Why am I now the bad guy?
You're not the bad guy. You just did not understand human nature. This is the world you are in. You are here to do what you want to do. It's like learning how to swim. It's wonderful when you swim in a pool that's 86 degrees and there isn't a ripple on it. But then you have to swim to rescue someone who falls out of a boat. You're going against the current. Your form is lousy, and you're going to be swimming very differently. And you'll grab sticks and pull poles to get there. You'll do anything because you're trying to save your life. In the real world, you don't do things by the book. You do things to win.
But I was doing this to win.
Well, you lost. And you're going to prove to your son something completely opposite of what you wanted to do. If you wanted to prove the point, you should have shown your son that you could have gotten the community together to get some sand, to pour it into that stuff and shovel it away, or get a Boy Scout troop to do it, or do something. But what you did is you took action in court, and once you did that, you lost your position. I'm not saying it's right, but in this world where the law is overwhelmed and people cannot be serviced properly and lawyers cost a fortune and no one wants to do the kind of pro bono work that would take to make this work, and people are full of retribution, you lost this one. I'm sorry, but that's how it is. Reality is not fair. And if you don't know how to negotiate in it, I guess you shouldn't play. Who's
Get in some
next?
trouble. Okay, we have
Well, you get
John.
hurt all the time.
We have John. He's on line 10, and he's dealing with an obsession.
John.
Yeah, how you doing?
Good. How old are you, John?
24?
You're dealing with an obsession?
Yeah.
What's this obsession?
Well, let's go back about 6 months real quick. I work with this lady at work, and we've been pretty close the last 5 years at work, mainly strictly work only. And we usually walk or, do something during lunch together to, kind of take the stress off. And one day we just, we got to talking and we kind of got a little open, and we thought, well, we'll go to lunch one day just for the heck of it and, just, talk and kind of get the feelings in the open. And the next thing you know, kind of got a little carried away, and then from then on it just kind of grew and grew and grew.
What grew and grew and grew?
The
You're having an affair with her?
Yeah.
All right. Are you married?
No.
Okay. So what is the nature of the obsession?
Just we're both attracted to each other.
And what do you mean obsession?
Well, we're obsessed with the idea of each other and the fact that we're not getting away with it. The fact that we're doing something that we both know really isn't right.
What's not right?
Well, she's married.
You never said that.
Sorry.
One little fact, right?
Yeah, big fact.
So she's married. Okay, and you're having this passionate affair. Okay, and what does she say about that?
Well, just recently I've asked her, well, what do you want to do about it? And she tells me one thing one minute, no, I want to get out of it. Or not in those words, but
What does she say exactly? I want to hear the exact words.
she says, oh gosh, I can't really, it's hard to explain because she's not very clear herself. I almost have to do the guessing for her because she has a hard time being open with me.
Why?
I don't know. I've tried to ask her that.
What do you mean, hard time being open? What is it
Well-
she can't tell you? What she really wants?
Yeah, I guess that's it.
All right, so if she can't tell you what she really wants, in some way she's using you to make up for the lack of excitement in her life.
Exactly.
Okay, so you're being used.
But
But-
it's not an ongoing thing. She does it at her convenience.
That's really being used.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I don't mind only, and the reason why I say this is because I've worked 2 jobs. I don't have really any time for a relationship. I'm constantly working.
Oh, so it's a convenient thing. It's a
For me,
it's a
too.
job benefit, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, what it is basically what it is there's a big confusion because the word love has been mentioned before.
By whom? The word love has been mentioned before.
Both.
Okay.
And it's, our feelings are very serious.
I guess they are, but it's only at her convenience, so how serious can it be?
Exactly. I know myself.
I think you're being used. I think she's using you as a toy. But what the hell, guys don't mind that.
No, and one of the problems I have also at work is the fact that I'm only one window away from seeing her, and the feeling.
One window away from seeing her?
Yeah, I mean, I can see her from where I'm working, and I could talk to her anytime I want.
Oh, so you work at windows with the public in front of you?
No, not public. I guess you could say that, but we're not open about it within the company. Nobody, hopefully nobody caught on.
What is the company?
It's just a computer atmosphere. Not too many people, but people in and out.
Okay.
And it's funny because she goes through highs and lows because of guilt or just the way she feels about the situation one minute, and then the next minute she'll be like all into it, wanting to, meet me here, my place, whatever.
Just something to spice up her life.
Mm-hmm.
And you go along with it because it's what you're doing. Do you mind?
Well, it's kind of hard because, like I said, the feelings have grown.
Okay. So all of a sudden you care, and her lack of ability to be more involved is starting to get to you, right?
Yeah, in the long
Okay.
run, yeah.
As you care, the fact that you're being just used is starting to get to you.
Yeah.
Okay. The moment you say that you really care, I have a feeling she'll really back away.
Well, yeah, yes and no. Like I say, it depends on her mood.
Well, of course.
Yeah, and you had mentioned about writing, like journals and things like that. Well, we have written notes to each other at work and passed them back and forth, and I've kept them. And at times when I've been low, or I've brought the notes back to use them to my advantage to try to get her to come to me. Because
How would you do that?
well, I just use certain excerpts from the notes.
To make her feel guilty?
No, to tell her what she was like at one time and why she's not like that now.
Or when did she change?
She changes all the time.
Yeah, but the way you're suggesting is that there has been a shift.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay,
it happens often, more often than I like.
Okay, so is it the guilt has started to get more prominent?
Yeah, this happened once around the holidays too, especially.
Okay.
And now then it got better during the beginning of the year, and now it's gotten back to it again.
So what do you want? You want to keep this a lighthearted affair with a little bit of passion and obsession in it?
I don't mind.
Then tell her you don't want to get serious, and tell her it has to be at your convenience as well.
Well, yeah, I have made that aware to her that we both know it can't get serious.
It is serious.
Yeah.
You're both over your head.
Yeah. But I mean, we know we can't go any farther than this.
Oh, I don't know about that.
I wouldn't. Let's just put it this way: I wouldn't mind. Okay, I would. If she left her husband for any reason, I would definitely jump in. And I don't know if that's feeling mutual with her. But yes, you're right. I wouldn't mind carrying it on.
Well, what you ought to do, if I were in your position, which fortunately I hope I never am, I would say, look, this is how I feel about this. I don't like the feeling of being stirred up inside, and I feel like a yo-yo. And the other thing is I'm developing real feelings about you, and I don't feel safe in doing that. And since I really care, what I want to do is I want to stop our relationship. And I want you to think about it for a while and ask yourself what this means. And if I'm just a plaything, okay, let's stop, because I'm not feeling like a plaything. I'm feeling like someone who really wants to be with you. And if you're just using me as leverage to get out of a boring, unhappy marriage, thanks, but no thanks. You have to make that decision on your own. And if you make it and you want to be out of that marriage and you still want me, I guess I'm around for now.
Right.
And that's all you promise. And if you try to promise more than that, I think you'd be making it up. You have to be careful. Relationships like this are not safe. You can never cheat and not do damage to someone. Someone is always getting hurt. And even if you think it's a game, you're damaged even if nothing happens, because when you take serious feelings and treat them lightly, you trivialize your life, and then life starts to lose its meaning. Don't mess around with the good things. We'll be right back. David Viscott, we were discussing about the program. Every single night has a rhythm all of its own. Sometimes people are abusive, sometimes they're combative. But tonight, although they're talking about a lot of different things that people call, there's a different kind of tempo to it. Did you notice that? I wonder what it means. Maybe we can discover what it means. I'm not sure.
Maybe that's our theme. Is that it, the feeling?
We're trying to figure it out.
Okay, we have Jordan on line 2, and she is confused and she's being pressured.
Jordan.
Yeah. Hi, doctor.
Hi, how old are you?
21, I'll be 22 in a week.
Confused over what? What is this pressure?
The pressure is that I want to keep the child, and
You're pregnant?
Yeah, I've had 2 abortions. When I was, the first time I did it when I was 18 and a half, I got pregnant the second time.
Are you married?
No.
But you're pregnant now. How far along?
6 weeks.
Okay. And who's pressuring you?
My boyfriend. Well, it's not really my boyfriend anymore now.
Okay. And you want to have this kid?
Yeah.
So
I didn't want to. I didn't plan this pregnancy, but now I'm excited, and I just didn't want to end my career. But my child comes first now, and I'm sure I can continue my career later in acting.
Okay, but what are the forces that are pressuring you within you? You've had 2 prior abortions. Is there guilt over that's speaking now?
Yeah, the guilt is that I just promised myself that if this ever happened again, that I would never get another abortion. I'm old enough to handle a child now. I'm not so financially stable, but that's not something that's really hard to acquire if I really try. And I'm moving away to another state
Why?
because I live in Los Angeles, California, and I can't afford to take care of a child here.
So where would you go?
Atlanta, Georgia.
To live with?
My best friend's moving with me.
And you'd live there together?
Yeah, we checked into the rent, and everything's really cheap, and they have a Medicare thing for when you're having children. They have that here in California, too, but all the other expenses are too expensive.
So you're planning to go on welfare?
Yeah. Not for long, just I may not even have to, because right now I have some money saved, but it just depends with the recession if I can get a job down there and take care of myself.
And tell me about the pressure.
The pressure is the gentleman that was my boyfriend that I got pregnant by. He wants me to give it up for adoption because he doesn't think I can handle it, and he really wants nothing to do with it. He says later he'll be ready to get married, but right now he's a musician and he's trying to get his life together and trying to be stable with his career. He's 29 years old and he's already had a child when he was 17. His girlfriend had a child and they put it up for adoption. I don't see really how he could go through that twice. I could never give away a child because it's a part of me, and I think there's a lot less fortunate people than me.
Why are you calling me?
Because I wanted your opinion to see, my aunt told me to give it for adoption also. And they say I'm being kind of selfish, but I think they're being selfish, trying to take away a thing that's a part of me and not giving me a chance to take care of my own child.
Well, have you made this promise to yourself not to have another abortion?
If you don't mind me being a little religious, I made the promise to God that I wouldn't do it. I made it the second time I had one when I was 19.
You really felt you were in trouble then with the maker, huh?
No, actually, that maker was... Oh, you mean God? Oh, that maker, my maker. Not in trouble. I don't...
Then why would you make a promise?
Probably because I felt really guilty.
So you felt you were in trouble over having done something wrong.
Yeah.
You felt you sinned in his eyes.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Okay, that's your belief. I cannot speak to that except to say that you have to be what you have to be. Do you have any problem with that?
A problem
with the sanctity of that vow. I mean, is such a vow a holy thing, or is it just a promise you make to yourself and attached to God? I don't know. I'm asking a tough question. I'm asking. I'm not trying to be insensitive, but when you are 19, you're overwhelmed with your sense of guilt and what you've done and the feeling of shame, and you'll do anything or make any promise and promise God, if you get me out of this, I will do anything for you. Right?
Yeah.
Is that kind of where you were?
Yeah. Now I'm less like that. I know that God forgives me and everything, but I think it's more of a thing that sometimes I feel like it's a gift, and it was meant to happen.
All right, but
I used birth control, and it happened.
all right. The question is, you have to decide. Is what you want to do now. Forget promises that you made. Forget vows. Just what do you want to do now?
Well, now I want to have...
Independent of anyone's opinion, your family, your ex-boyfriend, and your former opinion of yourself. Your gut feeling right now is what?
I want to have the child, but I wish there was a promise that I would still be able to continue my career in a couple of years.
There are no promises anyhow.
I still want to have the child.
There are no promises about anything, are there?
No, there's not.
Okay. But the main thing is, what about the child?
Well, I won't be able to spoil it as much as I'd like to, probably within a few years, within the next 3 years. I think after that,
Well, who's going to be supporting you?
Just myself, and my father will be helping me, and, well, he'll be helping me after I have the child.
Okay. But basically, you're bringing into a child into the world, into an underprivileged family, right?
Correct.
Okay.
I came from a broken home, but I was very together.
I understand, but you had a father and mother.
No, I don't know my real mom.
Okay. But you had someone who could earn a living.
Oh, definitely, yes.
And you don't have that now. I just want you to know the facts.
No.
So what are you going to do to make sure this child has the best?
But that's why I'm moving to Atlanta.
Well, this is not the best. It's just the best chance, but it's not enough to make the child, have all the opportunity that the child deserves. That's the key point, isn't it?
Okay, well, I've checked into jobs down there,
Uh-huh.
and I'm going to get a job when I get down there. I have a few friends down there still. I lived there when I was younger.
Okay.
And a friend of mine is a manager. He's going to get me a job as a secretary. It doesn't pay as much as Los Angeles, but the rent and everything else is less expensive. And so, I mean, primarily everything is less expensive, and I can afford it. As for being on welfare, I'm not one for that, and I do have a father that's quite wealthy that if he found out I was on welfare, he wouldn't be very happy about that. I'm afraid to tell my dad right now because...
Well, you have to tell him.
Yeah, I do. It's just taking me time. I just found out last week.
Well, I would think about it. You got time, but you should do what's in your heart, because this is one of those long-term decisions. It's going to affect everything in your life, and you want to be sure that the guilt that's causing you to make this decision is not replaced by a guilt over the inability to care for the child the way you want to.
So are you saying that I should have an abortion?
I didn't say that.
Indirectly, did you say
I
that?
didn't say that. I wish you well.
Thanks.
I want you to do what you want to do, but I want you to be aware of all the things that impact on this. One of the things is that you tend to feel guilty, and you feel guilty over things you did. My belief is that you might feel guilty if you're not able to give this child everything, or if your father throws up his hands and say, "You're having the kid, you take care of the kid," So you have to have total responsibility for the way this child turns out. Good luck with it, and I hope you do what's right for you. You're your own master. No one else lives your life or should run it. We'll be right back. Stay tuned.